welcome in my welding corner. Today few tips from beginner to very beginners. Let's divide these tips for three. Oh, it's really low. Let's divide these tips for three groups. One is aluminium itself, second is tools and stuff, and third the basic setup for TIG welding, because we talk about TIG welding. Aluminium itself is much, because of high conductivity, heat conductivity of aluminium, is much easier to weld elements with like a similar, I don't know, heat capacity or something like that. It means it's much harder to weld something small, maybe not smaller than this, to something bigger with thicker walls than two. If we have such a two elements, it's much easier to weld them together. So how I solve this problem on the beginning, I just try to if I have to weld something small to bigger element, I try to weld bigger, then trim later on, chop it later on. I don't know if it's clear or not, but it helps a lot, because if we try to weld something very small, like something, wait a minute, magic way. If we try to weld something very small, like this piece of angle to the end of this square section, probably we just melt this before we weld it properly. Of course, after some time it will be not a problem, but on the beginning was quite a big problem for me, at least. If you cut, if you grind, etc., first of all, don't mix the tools. It means if you use the grinding disc, use it only for aluminium. Don't use same for steel and aluminium. Same concern the grinding disc for tungsten rods. Few tips around tools and equipment, whatever we call it. First of all, I put the steel plate on a table, so it means I just connect ground to the table, and it's much easier, especially when you're doing like a small details. Yes, this is standard WP26 torch, and what we get here is a bit different, and I found, so when you using such a thing, it's called gas lenses, we can work with lower gas flow. With these gas lenses, I try to set the gas flow bit over the size of the cap. So if it's like a cap is number, let's say 6, I try to set the gas flow for 7, 8, no more. If I can do this properly, I don't know, but I hope so. It's 8. Don't go below 20-liter argon bottle. It's run out quickly, so 10, forget about some, like a 10 liters. Before I buy it, I read a lot in internet how thick, for what amperage. Forget about it. I think the best choice is a 2.4. One, I think maybe the most important tip, it should be on the beginning, I don't know when I fit it in the video, but starts with high current. Much higher than you expected. When I weld such a thin pieces, this is 1.6 mil, I start with 95 amps. When it became hot, I slightly go down to 85, 76, depend how big, how many welds it, and how, but start with higher. Definitely starts with higher, it's better. Like I told earlier, is because of conductivity heat conductivity by aluminium. The heat goes from the paddle very quickly. So even before you make the paddle somewhere here, it's going quickly. So if you start with lower amps, it will be problem. So try when you starting welding, when you try to weld, start with, let's say, 90, 86, 95 amps, you know, if you believe in your welding machine. What we have here is a pre-flow start amp, upslope, peak amp. This is peak amp. This is our, let's say, welding current, base amp, pulse duty, downslope, finish amp, post flow, AC balance and AC frequency. This is what we have here right now. So this is pre-flow 1.6, start up 555, upslope 0.6, peak amp 96. So this is again welding current, base amp. This is the current which keep welding. Pulse duty is a 41%, downslope 10. No, this is pulse frequency right now. It's 136. AC balance. This is for cleaning, yes. And AC frequency 100 Hz. Downslope is 1.6. Second, finish amp 15, and post flow 2.8. This is my setup, and usually it works. The most important, it can be different, but the most important, this is the peak amp and base amp. In some welders we have much less possibilities to set. Anybody have a different ideas, different opinion? Let's talk about it. You can leave information in a comment, but this is my experience, personal experience. So like I said, it's a few tips from beginner to very beginners. It's much easier starts with such information, because I waste a lot of time and a lot of money just to found. So I need this electrodes, this welding rods, this, that, or another way. Thank you for watching. Please consider subscribing channel and leave the comment what information will be interesting. I do many different things and everywhere I am beginner.